Okay, so the latest topic of discussion is sugar.
Yeah.
And it's a big one too. And I've got a lot of thoughts about it as well. But I'd like to hear your top end views around the sugar.
Sure. Okay, so when we think about sugar, we have to think, where is it coming from first? So we've got sugar that naturally occurs in food, obviously like fruit and dairy, and then we also extract sugar and we add it into products as well to sweeten them. And obviously if the sugar is occurring in fruit, it's also being coupled with vitamins and minerals and fibre.
Exactly,
as well.
in a perfect proportion,
Exactly.
just like that.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
proportioned with fibre, other nutrients.
Yeah.
It's not being extracted out and then injected straight into a drink or into whatever.
Absolutely. So the level of the bloodstream is small and steady. And obviously you're getting all those beautiful nutrients with it as well. And the same obviously for lactose in milk too. So it's coupled with calcium and protein. The problem being obviously is when you extract that sugar out and then you put it into soft drinks and lollies, and obviously also refined carbohydrates too. So when we talk about sugar, we often just think of
The obvious culprits.
sucrose.
Everybody thinks chocolates, biscuits, cakes, soft drinks, they're obvious. But what I get concerned about is the hidden sugars, particularly in foods that are marketed to you as being healthy.
That's right, exactly. So that's where obviously we've got to look at label reading too.
Yeah.
And check the back of packets and have a look that you'll see nutrition information panels on the back, and you'll see ingredients lists. And if sugar's high, because the ingredients lists are ordered in list of quantity, if it's in the first few ingredients, then that product contains a lot of sugar. Or if you have a look at the nutrition information panel and there's more than 15 grams of sugar per 100 grams, that's a high sugar product.
More than 15 grams of sugar per 100.
grams.
That's a really good tip to look for.
Yeah.
I find though, interestingly, with I'm a mad ingredients label reader, that it's hidden in the vocabulary. So it might say sugar, but then it might say maple syrup, or it might say honey, or it might say dextrose or fruit concentrate. It's still sugar, right?
That's it, exactly. And the important point to note here is it might even say fructose as well, which means they've taken fruit sugar, concentrated and added into a product.
But Shivaun, it's healthy because it's from fruit, right? So bust that for me.
Yeah, not in that form.
Not when it's
actually
concentrated.
says concentrated. Yeah, not if it actually says fructose. If it says fruit pieces in it, it might be okay as long as it doesn't have a lot of other added sugar in it.
But then you can go back to your per 100 grams, 15 grams per 100. If it's 15 or more, it's too high.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Okay, this is good. I've got so many things I want to talk to you about with this. When sugar is broken down, correct me if I'm wrong, but sugar or fructose, glucose. There's glucose and there's fructose.
So there's all different types of sugars. There's monosaccharides, which is one sugar molecule, which is fructose, glucose, and galactose. Then there's disaccharides, which are two sugar molecules joined together, which is lactose, maltose, and sucrose. So I know we're getting technical here.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I guess the point that I was wanting to, the question I wanted to ask you was, fructose can only be broken down by the liver.
That's correct, yes.
So, and glucose is broken down by different organs, the brain being one of them.
It doesn't break it down, but it's primary source of fuel. Yeah, so glucose is our primary source of fuel, and we basically convert the other sugars to glucose to use them. Right. So fructose is broken down in the liver, but it's broken down and converted into glucose. And the same happens to the other sugars as well. They're metabolized and broken down into a usable form, which is glucose for the body.
So if you're having high concentrated hits of fructose, your liver's getting impacted.
Depends on how much. Really, with the research, it's eating it in fruit is absolutely fine. It's really when it's really highly concentrated.
Like orange juices or fruit concentrate drinks.
Yeah, having a lot of them. The evidence is around 100 grams or more is a problem, but that's really if you're having a lot of, foods that are very highly concentrated with fructose. Yeah.
I have contestants who do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is too, if you're drinking lots and lots of fruit juice, you would be.
Yeah.
So it's much better, obviously, to have
The fruit.
than fruit juice. Yeah.
Okay, and then I was also watching a documentary around breaking down alcohol and breaking down fructose, and they were talking about how it's kind of broken down in a similar way, except one gives you a buzz and the other one doesn't. And I found that really interesting.
They're probably talking about a byproduct of the alcohol and the fructose. Yeah. So, but again, it depends on how much you're having. So again, fructose isn't something to be really worried about unless you're having a lot of fruit juice, foods that are heavily processed and have added sugars in them.
But guess what is the biggest thing at the moment to drink is juices. Like that. I know a lot of them are veggie juices, but then there's still a lot of people that are still pumping out the fruit juice. And I know I shouldn't have the one that's in a bottle because I know that that's probably not as healthy. So instead, I'll go to the juicer shop and have my orange, apple, whatever mix, and feel like that's still being healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still filled with high concentrated natural sugars, but still sugars nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're right. If people are getting juices, it's obviously better to steer towards those vegetable juices. And maybe if you're having one piece of fruit in there, that's fine. But yeah, you're right. If you're starting to add more fruit, you've got to have a look at the whole day as well. So 2 pieces of fruit is the recommendation. But then in the juice, are you losing the fibre? Are you losing the good qualities of that piece of fruit? So
okay. Just one more. There's one more thing I wanted to say about. Well, there's actually so much I'd like to say about sugar. One is I know for sure. I have a theory. Well, it's not my theory. It's actually Steve's theory, but I think it's profound. We have contestants come on the show, upwards of close to 200 kilos. And you cannot get that big by ingesting that much calories. And we find that our biggest contestants are usually mad soft drinkers. Like that's where they're getting all their massive hits of calories is through soft drink. So, personally, I'd love to get that stuff out of people's diets as much as possible.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just, a lot of people don't think about liquid calories. They're just thinking about food and they forget how much of an impact it is when you're consuming a lot of soft drink or sugar sweetened beverages. And I've had the same thing with my clients as well, that you just eliminate soft drink and there's a huge weight loss and a huge change in health.
Yeah.
It's just from
massive. Just from soft drinks alone.
Yeah.
And I can't think of what my other point was about sugar. But I guess it's just really about being conscious of how much you're having per day. What's the Australian standard? How many grams of sugar per day for an adult, male and female? Do you know?
Male and female. Off the top of my head,
I think it's around about 7 teaspoons. I'm gonna have to double check on this though.
Yeah.
We can put the specifics up on
the specifics up
on
there.
the screen.
Yeah.
But I know that when we've gone through and looked at someone's just their breakfast alone, they're already reached and surpassed their daily sugar intake just from one meal, and that's just the start of the day.
Well, that's it exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the thing when we look at the macronutrient breakdown, and it is about 45 to 65% carbohydrates that is ideal in the diet. No, actually it's 50 to 65%.
We'll get those stats
up. You're talking about the sources coming from whole grain carbohydrates. You're right, that actually shouldn't be added sugars in the diet. That macronutrient, that should be coming from fruit and dairy products and whole grains. So yeah, obviously we can have the odd discretionary choice and the odd, sugary food here and there. But
it's almost impossible to take all sugar out of your diet, which is why adding to it is just madness.
Yeah.
But read your labels, know what's going in.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly it adds up.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I never forget that.